Hello folks, it's funny old bloke Peter Elgar from Brentwood, Essex, England. Look, I've got a LEICA Digilux Mark II here. It's not mine, of course. I couldn't afford such things when they came out. It's borrowed from a good camera club mate of mine. He got it on loan. But I'm going to tell you a few things about how I found about it. So it's not going to be a full technical run through, but what I found, and show you some pictures taken with it. No use going into camera if you don't show any snaps taken with it, is it? Well, this LEICA Digilux came out in 2004 to 2005. It's got 5 megapixels. It's got a variable micron lens, and the 35mm film equivalent goes from 28 to 90mm of the zoom ring here. And straight away I turned the wrong one. Oh, here we are. There's the zoom ring here. You can't see anything happening because it doesn't go in and out. There's a big lens hood here, which is detachable with a bit of trouble, so I don't really want to take that off because it's not my camera. It's got a UV filter to protect the lens as well. It's quite a large filter to protect the lens. So I've used it now for a few days and I've got some quite good results. Now you can use it with completely automatic features by putting it to A on the little dial here on the top, and you have your lens set to A here, which is automatic. It gives you programmed automation. Turn that to there. Then you can have it on autofocus for normal subjects, and on the little ring here it's got AF macro as well. Turn that to for close-up work. Now I've used that autofocus for macro, but if you want to do manual focus, you take it off that by pressing this button here. Press the little button, then you can take that off and you can then turn the ring to the manual focus dial here, and it goes down from infinity quite close to 0.3 of a meter. That's right, very, very close. So I've done some close-ups with that on the ring here. That is the manual focusing ring, but I've mostly used it on autofocus because it's so good. So we'll press that again to get back to autofocus. Then here's the aperture ring here. Now I've used it a lot on aperture priority automatic, and I've set it to mainly around f5.6 to f4, 2.8, f2. I haven't done much at f8 and the f11. The lens only goes down to f11 because it's such a small little chip, about as big as your fingernail, this little chip. And if they make it go to f16, you'll probably get diffraction effects on the lens, which you don't want. You won't get good sharpness if you get diffraction. So they don't allow you to go smaller than f11, but you get tremendous depth of field anyway. And that is the problem with having a very, very small chip, because I've found even setting it to f2 and 90mm focal length, it's very, very difficult to put the background out of focus. I've taken a shot and it was failed at the camera club because the background was too sharp, even at that setting, 90mm and full aperture f2. Because the chip is so small, that is the problem. If you've got a full frame camera, of course, you can easily put the background out of focus. But with a very small chip, you get a load of depth of field. So that is one of the bad things about it, I've found. Now you can use it on, as I say, aperture or automatic here, or you can take it off by turning the little dial like a shutter speed dial, and you've got shutter speeds up to 4,000th of a second. It says 4,000 in the book, but funnily enough, this one only goes to 2,000th. But in the book I've got, it says 4,000th. So that is strange. This only goes to 2000. I didn't notice that. Well, then you can choose spot metering here, or multi-facet metering, or centre weighted metering by putting the little lever here. So I've taken some on everything. I've used all those settings. Then you've got a setting for flash here, and you can press this once you turn it on by turning it on here, switch it to on, get my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing, switch it to on, then little screen lights up and you can see what you're doing. If you want the flash on, you press flash and the flash pops up. Now with a soft press, the flash will bounce up off the ceiling. If you press it hard, it comes forward like that. Now you get direct flash now. So I tried that, and they was all with ceiling flash, they was all overexposed. So I thought, well, for that price of camera, you must be able to do a compensation, and my friend didn't know. So I searched online, and you can, by pressing this little button called EV at the back here, press it twice, and you get flash compensation coming up. And then by pressing this little control here, you can change that, and I've got it to -1 on the flash setting, -1 flash compensation, so that when I do fill-in flash outdoors, it doesn't overpower the subject. And there's a little word that says set, so it tells you which one of these 4 little things you press in the direction to set. So you press the down one here, and that sets it, okay? Then, if you want to set the sensitivity, there's 2 ways. You can press a button called function here, and on the back you've got white balance, quality, sensitivity and spot AF come up in the back. Now to choose them, you've got to look at the picture of the little control to press. If you want white balance, you press the top one, and it got white balance, and I've got it on daylight. I've done picture with tungsten. And if you want quality, you press the red one, and I've got it set to raw. Now in the book I've got, which told me I had a 4/1000, something else was wrong. It says I can take TIFFs as well. But I've searched this camera, and on the quality setting I can't find a setting for TIFFs at all. I can find the raw, and then you can go down. You get various JPEG high to very small compressed JPEG for very tiny bad files, or you can have it on RAW, which I've got it set to. But nowhere could I find TIFFs. So why in the LEICA book here, the LEICA Pocketbook 8th edition, it says you can do TIFFs in there. I can't find it doing TIFFs. Then you've got your standard menu display here. Get my glasses off. There is a standard menu display here. Luckily, there's not 100 different menu settings in this, because it's 2004 to 2005. Before these Canon cameras came in with and Nikon cameras with about 20,000 settings in the menu to search through. This hasn't got that number. You can do your white balance adjust, and you do the quality again. It's the same things you do by pressing function. Then by pressing the one across to set up, you can have the monitor brightness, you can have it on beeping, you can have it switching off to power save onto 2 minutes, and then you can format the card, of course, in it. And then if you can have a display here, when you take a photo, take a snap, it says please wait, and there's a picture comes up. There's some backlit leaves there. If you want to know what exposure you gave, you press display twice, and you get your histogram come up, and you get the exposure. That was 125th of a second, and f5.6, and it on ISO 100, and it was taken on the 17th of November 2024 at 11:23. All that comes up in the display. So you can find out what exposure it gave by pressing this display. Then when you don't want the display, you press it off. Now if you want to do some exposure compensation, which I have done, you press this one, EV again. Now 1 minute, we're on the taking the picture setting. There we are. You press that once, and then all the exposure compensation comes up. And you press this little control here, and then you can put the slider to how much exposure compensation you want. So I was in a dark forest, so I had it on minus. I had it on minus half a stop exposure compensation, because I've taken a lot of dark things, darker than normal. Okay, so there's a hot shoe here for it's got contacts for a LEICA flash, but I have used it with a sun pack flash, which only uses the centre pin, and it works perfectly with a sun pack flash. Now I haven't put the famous Vivitar 283 on, because the one I've got is the one with the high voltage of about 280 odd volts. It might blow up this Digilux, so I didn't try that. But what I did do, I tried it with a wireless control here and the hot shoe, and I had a flash held up like that. So I pressed that and it set the flash off, and it gave quite good results without it being connected to the hot shoe, by having a little wireless control. So I've tried that. Yeah, so it's not bad, but the only trouble is the quality settings are 100, 200 and 400. I only got 3. Then on 400 it gives you very, very grainy results, and I've done some portraits and put them on FLICKR, and you can see the grain, or what you call noise in it. It's digital noise, isn't it? I still call it grain, but it's very grainy at 400. But my camera club friend who loaned it to me showed me how to do this luminance business with a slider in your software, and by sliding the luminance it smooths out all the grain. And so I thought to myself, wow, I've discovered what to do with that. You can get rid of the noise by using this luminance slider. So I'm gradually learning about that. So that's about all I can say at the moment. I'll show you some snaps now. I've had some big prints done, ready for showing at the camera club. So I'll show you those, and we'll talk you through what I did. So I went in the woods in Brentwood and done some autumn scenes. There's a close-up there of some ferns. Look, these are not mounted yet, because I haven't mounted them. They're ready for the camera club, but they're not mounted. I had it done glossy, this one, because this is a sort of subject which suits glossy. But that was at close-up range, about 5.6, ISO 100 that was. I managed to hand hold it. There's another one here, some leaves. Let's get rid. See, there we are. That's a bit better. That was ISO 100. Wasn't on the dreaded 400. And I use f2.8 on that, almost full aperture, and it gives you, so you get such a depth of field, because it's such a small chip. You can afford to use f2 and f2.8 and still get it all sharp. Then on the way to the hospital for my blood test, there was a fence, and it had some red berries on it. So I thought, oh well, we'll do a macro shot. So I came in for the macro setting, and I got that snap. And I've had that done a 16 by 12, so I'm going to put that in. I'm trying to put the berries near the intersection of third, you see, all the good camera stuff, camera club stuff, get it on the intersection of thirds, and a bit of diagonal line coming down. There's a diagonal line, you see what the judges like. I bet he won't win anything though, but there we are, that's a close-up shot I've had done, the 16 by 12. So these pixel size you get from this 5 megapixel, You only get 2,000 odd pixels by 1,000 or something on pixel. I forgot the exact size now. But at normal size, it's set up for a 10 by 8 print, and that is with 240 dpi. But if you want to enlarge it, you get your file into your software. If you want a 16 by 12, you put 16 by 12 in your software size and 300 dpi, dots per inch, and then you do your crop box and then crop it, and that puts up the pixel count by interpolation, or whatever they call it. It comes out like that, because it doesn't have these 4,000 or 5,000 odd pixels, because it's only 5 megapixels, so the pixel size of the pictures is a bit small. But by interpolation, it works. You can get 16 by 12 out of it. So there we are. So it's a LEICA Digilux 2 from 2004. Oh yeah, the battery. Then there's a battery charger here. That's the battery charger. You put your battery in, and you've got a green light coming up. And when the green light goes out, your battery's fully charged. And this is the spare battery. So that is the battery charger. Okay, I'll show you that. Well, that's about all I can say, folks. So I'm going to sign off now. And hope you enjoyed this thing about the LEICA Digilux. And when I can find the control. Cheerio for now. Keep watching.